Hey, folks, we're bringing you the original episode of this podcast. The audio quality, to be nice to it,
crunchy.
stinks. It's filmed. It was recorded with Rock Band microphones. We didn't really have any idea what we were doing. So
It's Drag Race Season 1, and we're now Drag Race Season 15. We're on VH1.
Sure.
We're glossier. The budget's higher.
Yes, we have a Patreon. People have given us pledged support for us. We've used that money to buy better microphones. We have a better soundproofing in our studios, our respective home studios. It's just better. It sounds better now. The jokes are still kind of silly, and the show doesn't change that much in terms of what we do. But there's just a little different. So we just wanted to
It's a
give you
crunchier experience.
Yeah, this is not a great first episode of the show to listen to, which is why it's no longer on the main feed. We moved all of these back catalogs with the old microphones to our Patreon. It's any pledge, any amount. You give us $1, we give you the link. Or honestly, if that was a hardship for you financially, just email us and I would give you the link probably. But it's just we wanted people to put our best audio foot forward. So this is not that. So if this is your first episode of the show, maybe listen to the other one first or something. I don't know. Thank you very much. Enjoy the show.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the inaugural edition of Dissecting the 80s, the podcast brought to you by Trip and Andrew. I am Trip, one half of the Mega Podcasting Powers. With me always is my tag team partner,
Andrew Leno.
And we are here today to do a little dissection of a film known as Girls Just Wanna Have Fun. What year is that film?
That movie is from 1985.
And what does the magic Netflix box tell us about Girls Just Wanna Have Fun?
Two rebellious girls find themselves on a wild adventure filled with cute boys, prudish nuns, mean rich kids, and parents that just don't understand. Where's Will Smith when you need him?
I don't know. He's nowhere to be found in this particular movie.
No.
But it's time for a discussion. It's time.
We gotta go back, Marty. We gotta go dissect the 80s.
That's right. It's time to dissect the 80s. Why don't you tell them a little more about Girls Just Want to Have Fun before we jump into it?
Sarah Jessica Parker. It is a movie. I don't know if it's not, no, because I was thinking BMX Bandits is Nicole Kidman's first movie. This is not Sarah Jessica Parker's first movie.
No, but one of her early ones.
One of her very early ones.
Along with Helen Hunt?
Yeah, Helen Hunt. Is this pre-Flashdance? I want to say this is pre-Flashdance.
I have no idea. You could look that up, but I would guess that it is.
Because it's in the thick of like 80s dance movies, like Flashdance, Footloose.
So you picked this one. We went through. We picked a bunch of movies. We each said, "You watch this, and we'll watch them." And this is the first note I have down. For
I picked this movie because I love Cyndi Lauper, and I was like, "Hey, maybe Cyndi Lauper is going to show up in this movie." I was duped.
She doesn't.
Apparently, she has an uncredited cameo that I did not see her in.
Robert Downey Jr. does too, but we'll get to that.
What?
I would like to say this is the first thing I wrote down when watching this movie. Dear God, is this a dance movie? I hate you.
It's a montage opening, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a dance. It's a straight up dance montage, and it's like, hey, by the way, you're watching a dance movie. Look at them dance.
Why did the 80s people love dance movies?
I don't know. They're still popular now. Those Step Up movies, they're only Step Up 5 or 6 at this point.
Oh, that's right. I don't think of those as dance movies.
But they are. They certainly are. The dialogue in this movie seems like it's all ADR. All of it in the beginning, at least the first 15, 20 minutes of this movie, it feels like all the dialogue was redubbed after the fact. Like, it just doesn't quite sync right. I don't know if that was Netflix or the actual movie, but it just doesn't quite.
A little bit, yeah.
It's just a little bit off. So, Sarah Jessica Parker is
the new girl in school.
And she meets Helen Hunt, who immediately befriends her because reasons, which is good enough for me. Hey, it's nice to have a nice kid.
I'll take it. And they talk about the show. It's kind of like American Bandstandy.
It's like that one on Hairspray.
Yeah, the Corny Collins show.
Yeah, that it's a dance show that airs on the afternoons, and they
watch it, want to be on it. It's in Chicago. They're in the suburbs of Chicago.
Right. And so Helen Hunt is a babysitter, and she
changes in the car. She changes on the bus, which is weird to me.
Yeah, she's just like openly getting naked.
Yeah. And they go there. She's talking about how cool the mom who she's babysitting for is, how much she loves her,
and the fact that they have a 25-inch TV.
Oh my God, it's huge. Little Shop, a big, enormous 12-inch screen.
Right, I actually had that thought. Like that movie's that show's from the 50s originally. That movie show, whatever. Originally
no, the show is from 80s, 70s.
Oh, okay. I thought it was older than that.
The movie was from the 60s.
Okay. But the 12-inch screen, I guess, would be
a reference.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is where this movie's gonna go. When the baby was sitting in the pizza.
By the way, the baby is the best actor in this movie.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
I'm not even making a joke. The baby, who has no lines and really doesn't move very much, is the best actor in Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Oh, Shannon Doherty shows up in this movie too, y'all.
She does. She has more of a part than Robert Downey Jr. does, but he's in it.
I don't know he was in this movie.
I'll show it to you later. It's
Okay.
absolutely him. He was dating Sarah Jessica Parker at the time, I think.
Oh.
Don't listen to this podcast expecting for revelations about Robert Downey Jr. I don't want to build up everybody's hopes and dreams that they're like, oh, there's going to be a really big spot with RDJ. I was like,
Is that him?
it is. I think that's him. But then I googled it and it was right. Anyway, I hate all of these characters. Is my next. This is the next.
You're only
line
like
dialogue.
4 characters at that point.
She immediately goes home, right, and she meets Pops.
Oh, her dad. This is after they're watching the dance show and the baby's sitting in the pizza and the mom of the baby freaks out.
Yeah, like, oh my God, my baby's in a pizza.
That might be a line. That might be a line of dialogue from the movie.
But like, to be fair, it is. If you came home and your kid's just sitting in the middle of a large cheese pie, that would be upsetting for me as well.
Yeah.
I would not like that.
Yeah, I guess.
So at this point, you realize that the movie is just Willy Wonka. She has a bad home life that's crappy. She has this thing that she really wants to do, and then they announce a contest that could get you the thing you really want in your life.
Oh, wow. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it's just straight up Willy Wonka. Like, oh, I'm so sad. Well, if you get the right chocolate bar, you could be getting an all-expense trip to
Run
the...
home, Sarah.
Yeah.
Gallop home as fast as you can.
Take your hooves and clap your way.
Don't stop. Don't trot until you get there.
So she immediately, she's like, oh...
She's an army brat.
Yeah.
And her father is like the classic 80s movie jackass hardened general.
But while they're watching the show, it's immediately like, there's a contest to get you on this show. Don't you want to be there?
Oh, we've got to do it.
Yeah, and I wanted to discuss with you. Is military dad the worst character archetype in film?
Worse how?
Worst
how?
Because every time you have this character that's like overbearing military dad, it's the same narrative. Like, he's a jerk, he's a jerk, he's a jerk. Oh, he's seen the light.
Mm-hmm.
But there's never any clear progress toward it. It's like, I'm gonna go strangle him with my military bullets, and then he gets.
Hang on. I'm gonna go strangle him with my military bullets.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense when they say it either. I was just repeating the line from the movie.
That's not a line in the movie.
He's like, oh, I got my big military bullets. I'm going to strangle somebody. And then he gets there and he's like, oh, I was wrong.
Oh, you mean like the worst developed character?
But it's like every movie I could think of with a military dad is always like, he's a jerk, he's a jerk, he's a jerk. Oh, nope, changed.
What other movies do that? I'm trying to think.
I mean, it's a really common stereotype throughout the 80s, and I mean, it still is around today, but anytime I see obnoxious, overbearing, dickhead military dad, I just hate everything. In Weird Science, it's not the dad, it's the brother, but it's the same sort of thing. Oh, yeah. Where he's just like...
And isn't Animal House have military dude? Isn't there a general?
I'm in a military subset. It's not a father figure, but yeah, same kind of deal. But I just, anytime I've encountered this in a thing, it's like, oh, I hate you. I hate you. It takes 15 minutes in this movie until we get the first cue of Cyndi Lauper. Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Not even her rendition.
Nope.
That made me so angry that I got to the credits. I even watched into the credits. I was like, maybe they'll play it now. And I didn't hear Cyndi Lauper sing once. I was duped. Like people in the 90s and Beanie Babies, I was duped.
For those of you who don't know, the initial inception of this podcast was as a story we wrote together about live blogging Cyndi Lauper's The Goonies Are Good Enough, the 2-part music video that is 12 or 13 minutes long.
Each.
And bananas.
Mm-hmm. B-A-N-A-N-A, yes. And because I love Cyndi Lauper. I love her so much. She's awesome. And I was looking forward to it, and I was had.
So... It's not even Cyndi. They don't have the budget for it, obviously. They just
but apparently she shows up. I read somewhere that she had a small, uncredited cameo in the diner scene. I didn't see her.
We'll have to go to the internet machine later and see if we can find her. We can talk about that when we talk about RDJ, I guess. There's Shannon Doherty pops up, and she's like maybe 10 years old? 10, 12.
Yeah.
She's very,
but she's
very
playing
young.
like 15.
Yeah, she's playing little sister, who's like, you're going to be your annoying tag-along character you'll have to deal with for the rest of the movie.
Which surprisingly not the most annoying character in this movie.
At this point in my notes, I wrote, I still hate you. In case you forgot, I really hate you for picking this movie. So we get to the big competition.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Helen Hunt allowed to go.
No, Sarah Jessica Parker wasn't allowed to go by her father.
I just said Helen Hunt is allowed to go.
Oh.
And I was going to say what you just said, which is that
Her father forbid her to go.
We're a new city. We don't know anybody here. You can't just run around Chicago. And so she goes anyway because it's a movie.
She runs and jumps onto the bus.
Wait for me!
And then we get, we got to introduce the villain of this movie. We haven't written her in yet. Have her almost run her over. All right.
Driving a big honking convertible.
Red convertible.
For no reason. And we also get the
like
introduction.
Vehicular manslaughter. Very near vehicular manslaughter. Almost runs over Sarah Jessica Parker. So Helen Hunt goes over and like raises her, like, you know, the like, I'm going to hit you hand raise. But turns that into like checking her hair in her mirror. And everyone's around is like,
ooh, we got a badass over here.
Like, no, we don't. We have no, we don't. We have an 18-year-old blonde girl who fixes her hair.
I don't think she's even 18. She's like a 16-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
But when we meet the boys, who are going to be clearly the love interest for this movie, I don't remember their names.
He's basically a male Flashdance. I realized. He's like the steel worker. Like, I'm
just a steel town boy on a Saturday night. He's fighting to survive.
What a feeling.
He hits a thing and just water dumped on him. But his friend, I did say the baby is the best actor.
I thought that was Zachary Quinto when I first saw it.
Oh, I don't think it looks anything like Zachary Quinto.
I thought it looked like a young Zachary Quinto. Then I had to look it up and realize he was not in this movie.
Nope.
Probably a little young for that.
Yeah, he was probably 3. But I will say that if the baby is the best actor, which I'll stand behind, number 2 is the best friend. He's like
the Nebbish character.
What's that?
The Nebbish character.
He like opens up his trunk and he's got T-shirts up for sale. That's like auditioning for the Courtney Collins show, whatever the fuck it's called in this movie. Like I enjoyed that archetype. It was entertaining to me. He's kept like he's always scheming and doing stupid stuff. I was into it.
I like that.
Is the dude McDreamy, or am I thinking of a different movie?
I'm not sure.
I don't think it is.
I don't believe it is. I feel like I would have.
I think I'm thinking of that one.
The pizza one?
Can't Buy Me Love.
Yeah, where he's the pizza delivery prostitute.
Yeah.
That's a weird
Stay
sentence.
tuned. Stay tuned, maybe. You might be hearing about that one later. So Helen Hunt is wearing a grasshopper hat.
Oh, yeah.
When we get to the dance competition.
And Sarah Jessica Parker is still wearing her school uniform.
Yes, because she doesn't have the ability to change on a bus in front of people. Like
she didn't have any clothes to change into. That was her thing.
Well, Helen Hunt looks like she has an entire wardrobe in that bag.
Yeah, she's very poppin'.
Yeah, she's basically just like, oh, what's in here today? Foomp, and she crawls through it. She said, Narnia.
Yeah.
She said, Mr. Tumnus, I need your scarf. I need it bad. She puts it on.
She reaches in and she pulls up the wardrobe and opens it.
Yeah, she just reaches in and takes Mr. Tumnus' scarf right from him and wraps it around her. Like, oh, I'm looking great now.
Helen Hunt auditions, and her dancing partner is so bad. And, like, trips her, and, like, it's just bad.
He basically, like, knocks her down on purpose and stands over and, like, beats his chest like a pro wrestler.
Yeah. And I was like, this is, what? And then Sarah Jessica Parker dances and, like, outshines her partner. And I love
because she's a golden god.
I loved what they did in this movie, because Sarah Jessica Parker clearly is not a gymnast or a talented dancer. So they were like, we're going to put you in a shapeless pleated skirt and a blouse and and so your body double will look just like you no matter what. And
you just twirl a lot.
you spin around.
We want to do a full-on Stevie Nicks if we can.
Yes.
Just put your arms out wide. And your hair
Here's a shawl. Here's a.
Your hair is huge. Her hair is
giant.
The biggest it's ever been. And just spin in circles and let it cover your face.
Yeah.
At this point, we're about 25 minutes into this movie. We've had like 2 different dance sequences, and we just met.
And we met the hot guy who's a good dancer as well.
And we met the love interests. I can't. The next note I have here, I just made myself laugh as I forgot I wrote it. I can't believe I'm writing this, but everyone's eyebrows are enormous.
It was the 80s, dude.
I know, but they all look like an old man with caterpillar eyebrows.
Trying to annex the rest of her forehead.
Sarah Jessica Parker's eyebrows are like 2 bananas glued to her face.
They're trying to annex her hairline.
Yeah, you're like, oh, what's going on over here?
And then Sarah Jessica Parker gets paired up with the hot guy for finals or callbacks or semifinals, whatever the hell they're called.
Round 2.
Yeah, which is at the studio. And then we learn that the mean rich girl paid off Helen Hunt's partner to sabotage her on purpose.
Because they apparently knew each other?
I don't know if they did.
We saw her in the parking lot, but if that's all they knew each other...
That's all they knew each other of.
Why did she feel like she was a threat to her? She has no idea what her dancing ability is.
She just hated her.
She's just tough. She almost slapped me, but instead she put her hair behind her ear.
And I'm the rich girl in the movie. And I feel like my dad should be screaming about Robot House.
You poor people are barely worth the time to deal with you.
Let me get on my yacht.
So at this point, we get some really awkward edits.
Oh, do we?
Just really weird. It's just a step above like a star wipe.
I love Star Wipe. That's my favorite.
So we have like a scene with the homework with the.
Oh yeah, and then the phone call.
Yeah,
and
the dad's like, "Who are you on the phone with? It sounded like a boy."
It's someone from school.
I won't stand for that in my house. No penises anywhere near my daughter. I'm in the military. I have all these military bullets. I'll strangle the first person I see.
So
I always carry my military bullets to strangle anybody who comes near my daughter.
So the hot guy's like, "Hey, meet me." I'm assuming it's probably about 6 at the time of the phone call. And he goes, "Meet me at 9:00 at the dance studio." Doesn't say which dance studio,
nope.
Just the dance studio.
There's only one.
And before she has time to say, "No, I can't," he hangs up and just goes anyways, assuming she's totally going to be there.
Well, he did command her, and he is a man and she is a woman.
He's a steel-bound man.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but men basically control women.
But girls just want to have fun.
Exactly. This has been the misogyny segment on Dissecting the 80s with Trip and Andrew.
Mansplaining the 80s.
So I'd like to check in with the... Oh, next note. Yep, I still hate you.
How many times did you write that
Still
one?
good. A lot.
Yeah?
A lot. It'll periodically come up.
I wish that we did like the pop-up. We could just pop-up video. Girls just want to have fun, and that could just be your note every time. It'd be like my face with like, "Cyndi Lauper's great," and it's just like, "I hate you."
I don't even disagree with that point. This movie is
I know,
garbage.
this movie's terrible.
It's not even. It doesn't even have the redeeming quality of like, oh, it has the Cyndi Lauper song in it, which is buoy anything.
See, if Cyndi Lauper played Sarah Jessica Parker's part, this movie would be infinitely more entertaining.
Oh, if it was like a biopic, like Purple Rain or something.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would have been so much more entertaining.
Not even like a quote biopic, but just like it's Cyndi, like, "I just wanna have fun."
Well, like Purple Rain is a biopic, but it's never actually called that.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
I would love that movie.
I would watch that. It has to be better than this.
Yeah.
It can't be worse. That's for sure. So now, Helen Hunt is back. We've progressed from the dance sequence.
Is this chorus? Were they in the chorus room?
Well, does the awkward thing with the motorcycle with the rich girl happen after she gets stood up?
No. Wait, no, yeah, it does.
Okay, so he like has this encounter with the rich girl who's like, "Oh, that girl's poor. Why would you want to deal with her? And her dad has military bullets. He just strangles everybody.
I have money, so I'm a better dancer. You should dance with me.
And my dad doesn't have any military bullets. So
Just money.
stay away from him." Ugh.
But you sound like Jimmy Fallon doing that. Yeah.
She might also get her dad's military bullets and touch you with them, and then you'll be strangled.
I like that you touch someone. You touch them with a military bullet, and they get strangled. It's like Poison Ivy's kiss.
Military bullets.
That's the tagline. Hot tagline, colon, this is underneath the title.
So Helen Hunt is back after that encounter.
She's like, because he says no.
And she is wearing, he's
He's
get
like,
away from me, you're
I
rich.
have integrity. I'm not going to just go with you, rich girl.
I'm from the wrong side of the tracks, and I'm basically a shitty James Dean. Look at my motorcycle and my leather jacket.
Mm-hmm.
I love military bullets.
I need to go back to the steelworker. To Helen Hunt's back.
And this time, she's wearing a coonskin cap because she just wears animals in this movie. Every time we've seen her, she's been wearing a hat with a different animal on it.
Girls just want to have hats.
Girls just want to have animal hats. All animal hats.
And unflattering overalls.
So she meets up with...
Does she meet the boy in the yard at this point?
I think Helen Hunt and Sarah Jessica Parker are meeting up with each other, and Sarah Jessica Parker's like, "I can't go on this," and she's like, "But you have to," and they just yell at each other.
Yeah.
There's no emoting. There's no acting. It's just literally two people standing in a scene facing each other and just yelling at each other in alternating turns.
Pretty much.
Like, "You have to do it, but my dad has military bullets. No, you have to do it.
This is your dream. This is your time. Your time down here.
But he has military bullets."
These are someone else's wishes. Wait, I'm in the wrong movie.
You are totally in a better movie.
In a much
You're
better
You're
movie.
muddying the waters of the shit movie with your good movie. You don't want to do
I'm
that.
trying to make it better.
Then they're in the mall because
No, they have rehearsal first, and she's like, "Well, you clearly don't know how to dance. I'm gonna do gymnastics, which is not dancing." I just want to go on record as like, being able to do gymnastics and being able to dance are two different skills.
mutually exclusive.
I don't think I think you can be both, but I don't think just because you are one, you are the other.
Well, gymnastics is not dancing.
No, it's not.
Right.
But you can do both.
Yes, that is a thing people can do.
But she's like, I'm great at gymnastics, so therefore I'm a great dancer. And she does like a back handspring, and he's like, yeah, I can do this. And then he does something that's not the same thing, but like
No.
apparently is impressive. And she's like, well then, fine, tuck hair behind the ear. And
it's a lot of hair to tuck, to be
Yeah.
fair. It's a lot of hair. It's like a
And-
good fistful.
And then the rich girl sees this. This is when the rich girl sees this and calls the dad.
Yeah, and she's like...
And she's like, oh, you skipped. She overhears her saying, I skipped choir for this.
yeah.
And I don't know if choir is an after school or a class
It's
that
an
she's
after-school
skipping.
activity.
Because she calls her house and is like, I'm sister. I'm
Fake
sister rich
name.
girl.
Yeah.
Because she uses her real name, and that's
Yeah.
how they find out. I'm sister rich girl, and your daughter is not in class right now. She's not in choir. So where is she? Okay, bye.
What do you mean my daughter's not in choir? I've got all these military boots. I'm in a mood for some strangling.
Tell her that if she doesn't want to be in choir, she should just drop choir because she's not here right now. Just so you know, she's not here.
What?
Hang up, bye.
What? What do you... Where could she be? Honey,
So-
fetch me my military boots.
So the jig is up for Sarah Jessica Parker.
It's donezo.
And then they're at the mall.
No, I think they go... I skipped a couple scenes because, again, I hate you. They go home,
Then he's like, "You're."
but the little brother warns them.
Oh.
And so Helen Hunt like whisks her in like she fainted and we had to get her out of there. She's
Oh,
so
that's right.
hot she couldn't
She
deal
was
with
doing
it.
two different things. She auditioned for gymnastics at this instead of doing choir.
Right.
And she passed out. And so Helen Hunt carried her home, I guess was the implication.
She just slung her over her back like a
A
fireman.
passed out Sarah Jessica Parker was carried.
Trudging home with her up on her shoulders.
Or she's got her like you know when the military people are in the water and they're holding their rifles over their head. I'm picturing Helen Hunt holding Sarah Jessica Parker over her head.
Well, I'm very glad you didn't leave a soldier behind. If you know anything about me, is that I basically have one note to my character, and that is military,
Military
military.
So they're
By the way, have you seen my military bullets?
they're in a handsome glass case.
This is my case of military bullets. Don't touch them; you'll get strangled.
And so, yeah, Helen Hunt is like, I know what'll trick your parents. Pass out. And it worked.
Yes,
Up-
totally buy it. 100% through it. You shouldn't run yourself so ragged.
Mhm.
Go upstairs and have a nap.
Mm-hmm. Even though it's like 9 o'clock and a nap should be asleep at this
Yeah,
point.
just go to have a sleep.
Yeah. So then they go to the mall.
And the kid from before who was selling the T-shirts is getting fitted for a tux because, I skipped so many things. They stole
The invitation
invitations
happens now.
to the rich girl's
They
party.
they steal it from him while he's getting fitted
Oh, how did he get invited?
because he's friends with the hot guy, and the hot guy gave him his invitation.
Ah, okay. But he's super embarrassed to be getting a tux fitted.
Apparently,
Is the least embarrassing activity I could think of.
also was it fitted or was he getting measured for it?
Yeah, meted. Measured. Getting meted. He was getting meted.
Military bullets and meted.
It is very late at night when we're recording this.
Because if he's getting measured, I don't know why there's any pins involved for a measurement. Side note, I'm a costume designer. I do measurements all the time. I don't use pins to measure somebody.
You think it might have been a fitting?
It must have been, but it's weird. Also, you're really unprofessional if you're pricking the person you're measuring.
But the kid keeps wiggling.
Doesn't matter. And so they're like, wait, rich girl's having a party? Let me see the invitation. And then they run to the Xerox store, and they're like, get me 50. And Sarah Jessica Parker's like, no, 500.
Because
like,
I have money for no reason.
Yeah. I don't-
Even though I've been poor this whole movie.
I don't think they never said she was poor. They just said she was a military daughter. Helen
I
Hunt's poor.
No, Helen Hunt has some money, I thought.
No, Helen Hunt is poor.
I must have missed the subtext there. I
Yeah.
thought she was middle classy.
Poorer than rich girl. Poorer than ill.
But then they go and they hand the invitations out.
To everyone
And
in
it's
town.
it's literally a montage of clicks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, the nerdy kids, the goth kids.
The punks, the bikers with no hair.
Yeah, they go and hand them to some adults because they'll attend a children's party.
A debutante coming out ball.
Yeah.
Like, not even like a party.
Held
It's
at a country club.
yeah. And, like, They go to a diner where they start dancing with everyone in the diner, and apparently Cyndi Lauper is in this scene. Allegedly.
We'll have to look for it.
Allegedly.
We'll have to look for it. So they go to the
They set it up by the dad saying, "No one gets into this party without an invitation.
Yeah.
Don't forget that."
Yeah. If
So
you
you're
and someone gets in here without an invitation, it'll be your job. I'm rich and I'm an asshole.
So you're like, "Oh, got it." That's how they're explaining the fact that everyone gets into this party.
I wrote, "Oh no, are the punks gonna show up?" Spoilers, they do.
Spoiler alert, they do.
They do.
So they're at her party. There's an ice sculpture of her, among other things.
Which is kind of an awesome thing. Like, if I had enough discretionary income to have ice sculptures of me made, I
Probably,
might do it.
if I had some FU money.
I might do it.
So
I think we get to hear girls just want to have fun again at this point because I wrote, "No Cyndi Lauper again?"
probably. Oh yeah, it was in the diner. I think it was. The montage was girls just want to have fun.
Okay.
So when someone has an invitation to an event, typically I would assume they use the front door.
Sure.
Maybe the back door, whatever.
Use an entrance.
Typically, you don't jump through a window and shatter it all over everyone. Or drive a motorcycle into the event.
It's the same as in Weird Science, where it just makes no sense.
And then at the end, they're like, "I'm a teacher." In Weird Science, when
Yeah.
she's like, "I'm a teacher, don't tell anyone."
Yeah. It's just, I guess, an 80s thing that they just decided to...
Rich people, whatever.
Yeah.
So they're doing that. A hot guy is there, and he sees Sarah Jessica Parker in the window, who shouldn't have been in the window. That is a stupid idea, lady. You were going to get caught.
Yes. We're just going to peek in at the edge of the
Shannon
party.
Doherty,
and be like-
Helen Hunt, and Sarah Jessica Parker peek in a country club.
Yeah.
Sounds like a really bad joke.
So
He
Hail
gets-
to the Chief plays, and then they bust in, I think is what happens.
Because
No?
she makes an entrance.
Okay.
And then everyone bursts in.
That's right. She comes in. She makes her debutante appearance with Hail to the Chief
Mm-hmm.
because she's the president?
I guess.
I don't really know. It's not really ever explained.
And so people come jumping through the window. These really strong women show up in their lifting unitards.
Yes.
And I say strong women like a 1920s carnival strongman, but a woman. Like hup ho, triangular weights.
So if you remember, there's a point where a guy goes under a table and flips it up, and
Mhm.
he runs like right toward the rich guy.
And then the hot
That's
guy
Robert
falls
Downey
on
Jr.
top of it.
That's Robert Downey Jr.
What?
The guy who comes up from underneath the table. Because it was weird. As I'm watching the movie, I went, that looked like Robert Downey Jr. And then I was like, it's not Robert Downey Jr. He would have had a line at least. And I went and looked at the movie later, and sure enough, that was RDJ.
You have to look it up and show me later.
Apparently dating Sarah Jessica Parker, I think, and not Helen Hunt. Makes more sense.
Yeah. So what's his fate? The hot guy.
It basically turns into the shittiest version of the movie The Warriors, with the
Yeah.
different cliques as gangs showing
Yeah.
up and raising hell at the party.
Like Mad Max.
Yeah, like just a shitty Mad Max.
But so the hot guy gets knocked onto the front of a motorcycle, and the ice sculpture gets knocked into his lap, and he's like, "Whoa!" And he falls into the rich dad, and like he's like, "It was a very nice party," and leaves because ha ha ha. The rich dad's like, "Oh, I know your face now, and obviously know who your name is."
And I have so much money, you better fear me.
Well, he can fire his dad, as we learn later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what was important, that he saw his face and
That's
somehow
right.
knew who his father was.
That's right. That was of utmost importance.
Was
So I think
the father an alcoholic, or
The-
was that just skirt? Was
the
that just,
father of the
was that just hinted
handsome
at?
kid?
Yeah,
Definitely an alcoholic.
but it was like not.
He works at a sheet metal factory, and it's the 80s.
And they like acted like it was kind of a big deal that he drank, but he was never drunk or like any kind of like.
No, but he was pretty much an alcoholic if you read between the lines. of
Yeah.
it. So we go to the next round of
No,
dancing.
They're auditioning again. They're
Yeah.
rehearsing again.
Yeah, and there's a gymnast nun because aren't we?
Oh, they're in the schoolyard,
Oh, that's right.
and for some reason there's a pommel horse in the like schoolyard.
Yes, it's gym class, and the nun
At-
is teaching them.
At the Catholic school, there's a pommel horse. I don't think that. there would be a pommel horse like out in the yard.
It's a pretty dangerous piece of equipment.
Inside, it's a pretty dangerous piece of equipment.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be on asphalt.
So you have a gymnast nun, because aren't we so wacky?
Because we need Helen Hunt uses that. She's like, hey, you're really good at the pommel horse. Can you show us a routine so Sarah Jessica Parker can go talk to the hot dude?
Show us how it's done so she can go talk to the guy from the wrong side of the tracks.
Hikes up her habit.
And
like,
pommels
I'm waiting
the
for
hell out of that horse.
Whoopi to pop out and be like, get it, girlfriend.
That's a little
And-
racist.
That's Whoopi Goldberg.
That's a little racist.
It's not. That is what, like 90% of Whoopi Goldberg's lines in Sister Act are "Get it, girlfriend," and singing.
So they talk and have another
They decide they're
circuitous
gonna,
point in this
they're gonna
conversation.
go for the competition or something.
Checking in. I still hate you.
So they rehearse, and then as the hot guy,
No, they go to the bronze.
oh, they do go to the bronze.
It's straight up the bronze from Buffy the
Buffy.
Vampire Slayer.
So he leaves to go to the bathroom or something,
Yeah.
and then this guy shows up and is
who's like 40.
40 and like 80 feet tall.
Yeah.
And is like, you're dancing with me, Sarah Jessica Parker. And she's like, no, I'm
I
not.
love your bountiful hair and face like a foot. I must have you.
And she's like, no, I'm not. And he's like, yes, you are. I am a man. And you're like,
must
and I'm
listen
like,
to
wait
me.
a minute. No one is around watching this happen, and no one's doing anything.
Because it's clearly a teen dance club. Like the
Yeah.
average age is 16, and then a 40-year-old
Maybe there's
walks
like
in.
20-year-old.
And then a 40-year-old man walks in with like a full beard and a biker outfit, and he's like, I'm taking this one.
So Hawkeye comes back, and he's like, hey, I'll flip. He's like, she's dancing with me, and the biker's like, no, she wants to dance with me. And Sarah Jessica Parker's like, no.
No, I don't.
And he's like, Hawkeye's like, I'll flip you for her. And Sarah's like, I'm going to be really indignant about this. Which I'm pretty sure is the line she gave.
Well, it's a pretty reasonable reaction if that's actually what
But it
was
was
to take
it was
place.
so like it was such like 80s movie like I'm not like if I was really upset by this I would do something more important than pout. So he flips a coin and punches the guy.
Yeah, it's a good distraction.
One punch knockout.
He is from the wrong side of the tracks.
TKO.
He's
If he was
from the wrong
playing
side of the tracks.
Punch Out, he would win.
But he's from the wrong side of the track, so he's
He
clearly
beat
got some
Zangief
practice.
in one punch. So they leave and they kiss or something, and she sneaks back in the window or something.
And then there's a dance montage, to which I wrote, oh good, another dance training montage.
I think there were 3 or 4.
There's so... If you cut out the dancing parts of this 90-minute movie, it's roughly 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just military dad yelling about his military bullets.
And a baby sitting in a pizza.
Yeah, baby and pizza, angry military dad,
And
Robert Downey
Helen
Jr. character,
Hunt's hats.
rich dad, Helen Hunt animal hats. That's the other 6 minutes of this movie. It's not so many dancing.
Girls just wanna have hats.
Oh,
Girls just wanna have hats. That's all they really want. So dance montage.
And then the rich guy fires the
He's like he almost again vehicular manslaughter runs in this rich family because he almost runs over the kid's motorcycle as he's on it.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, I didn't see you there. Oh, hello. I'll fire your father if you don't drop out of this competition. And I was like, how did he know who his father was?
He went to a sheet metal factory and he apparently sent someone down and was like, find out which of those men have kids that dance. There can't be that many of them. It's a sheet metal factory.
Who's got strapping young children? And so he's like pissy and
And
like
he goes to talk to his dad because he's all sulky and mopey. And the gist of the conversation...
no, because he pisses off Sarah Jessica Parker first. And is like, I don't want to do this competition. And she's like, why is your heart not in it anymore? Cry, cry, cry.
My hair is so big and it takes so much effort to get this much volume.
And she's picking strands out of her face.
My dad's going to strangle me with his military bullets and you're quitting on the competition?
Ew.
As if her partner quit, the competition would be like, well, I'm sorry. You
Fuck
should have
you.
controlled the stranger we paired you up with and forced
A
you to become
complete
friends
stranger.
with. You've never met before today. We
Like-
just paired you up. We thought you'd make a good team.
So she's crying and he's upset. And then he leaves and she's like, you don't want to do it anymore? And he's like, no, I don't. And then leaves.
Because I don't like to dance.
I was like, okay. And then we get home and she's upset.
Right.
And her dad is there.
But she doesn't tell him because, again, military bullets.
Yeah,
But
he's
he
like,
goes to meet his alcoholic sheet metal father. This is my favorite because he explains to his dad, like, if I dance, he'll fire you. And the conversation essentially is, don't worry, son. I'll find another factory to work at. You go dance.
Okay.
Dance like your
I should
feet
also point
depend
out
on it.
this family has no mother.
Nope.
Is clearly low income.
The house is like falling apart.
It's like a row house.
It's a garbage house.
Um,
It's not even a row house. It's like they live in the dump.
yes. Like that scene in Labyrinth where the people all have their backs are full of junk. That's where they live.
Yeah.
And he's got a daughter, like a young daughter, and a kid who's going into college soon. So like maybe job stability should be something more ranking higher on the list than dancing dreams.
Yeah, especially because there's no prize. It's not like $1 million prize. Or
You get to be on the show.
Yeah.
That I don't think pays you.
No.
There was never mention of being paid for this show.
They never once are like, you get the dance contract. Just, you get to dance next to Corny Collins.
Mm-hmm.
So he tells his son to go dance.
And his son, he talks to Shannon Doherty, who talks to Helen Hunt, who's like, Sarah Jessica Parker, you have to dance. And she's like, my dad alarmed the whole house. How am I going to get out?
And so Helen Hunt rewires an alarm. I wrote, what in the actual fuck she's rewiring an alarm right now?
She also got on the roof somehow and then went down the house to meet Sarah
She's
Jessica
like Mission
Parker.
Impossible. She's like rappelling and hanging outside the window.
I don't know why she had to go up all the way up in the first place. It's not like
She went past the window and back down
it's
to
not
it.
like it's not like an egg timer where you have to go past 30 to go back to the time you want. Like you can just go to the window. Specifically to make a Spider-Man like hanging upside down joke. Like, how's my hair doing?
You like my spider hat?
So the little brother helps and they get out the window and then a dog shows up who I think is Sarah Jessica Parker's dog. I don't know if that was
He's
fully
pretty
established.
mean for her being her dog.
And Helen Hunt's response is to do the old hairspray flamethrower trick.
Yes.
To scare the dog away. And turns a hairspray can into a flamethrower. That's what I think. That's my first go-to for angry dog.
Yeah, just kill it with
Could
fire.
potentially kill it or me.
Well, kill it with fire is a good response to most things.
So they're on the bus on the way to the competition, and Helen Hunt's doing Sarah Jessica Parker's makeup, and the people are like, hey hot guy, you and your partner have to sign these contracts. So he's like, okay, she's in the bathroom. So T-shirt salesman and Shannon Doherty are like, well, he's like, what am I going to do? She can't sign it. And they're like, you idiot. We'll sign it and pretend to be her. And he's like, is that legal? And they're like,
Clearly not.
they're like, no, but she's clearly going to sign this shit. Also, what does it matter if the minors sign anything?
Because there's no logic in this movie whatsoever. That's what.
So Shannon Doherty fakes Sarah Jessica Parker's signature, which I think is probably worth about the same as a real Sarah Jessica Parker signature.
Roughly. At this point, I wrote, I still don't get the plot reason for her not being allowed to dance. It's never been explained beyond the dad just saying it's dangerous in Chicago, but weeks have passed since that. Also, I hate you.
I think it was because the dad was like, dancing is a stupid dream. You should want to go into the military.
Look at all these military bullets. This could be your cabinet of military bullets
one day. So
It's so shitty to laugh at your own joke this much, but it really is killing me every time.
so they get there, and prior to this, the woman who was alleged to have done music news, but never gives any actual music news in the movie or
Never
in the
once.
show. She just shows up and she's like, the Beatles sing songs, and everyone's like, woo! And then she gets carried out in a chariot, like by like 8 ripped black dudes.
Yes.
Carry her out
They're all oiled up
like
and
Madeline
ridiculous.
Kahn in History of the World.
Yes.
That's her role, and Helen Hunt loves her. So as Sarah Jessica Parker is running into the studio, this woman has just quit and exits, and Helen Hunt's like, oh my god, and the elevator door is shut on Helen Hunt as she's outside. So they're like, what is going to happen? So they get up there, they dance, whatever. Clearly not Sarah Jessica Parker dancing.
Here's where I write, this is gymnastics, not dancing.
It's not. Yes.
There is literally no dance moves. It's a straight
There was
up
some dancing.
It's a straight up gymnastics competition though.
Yeah. And so at home, the little brother who was in on the plan to get Sarah Jessica Parker out of the house points to the TV and goes, that's sister on TV. Like,
Yeah.
dude, really?
Well, they didn't tell him what they were going to do, just that they were leaving.
He helps sneak her out of the house.
Yeah, but
he knows she's supposed to be upstairs. My first thought, if I'm sneaking you out of the house, my first thought if I see you on TV is to change the channel before Mom and Dad see it, not point you out.
Also, the set that they're dancing on is like a weird
moon set.
Crag mountain.
It looks like
thing.
the aggro crag.
Yeah, it looks like guts.
Like, where's Mike O'Malley?
They have to like crawl up the side.
Yeah.
They like do weird, like they climb up the things
And then
then
jump
jump off
off.
them. Yeah, it's very weird.
Did they know what set they were dancing on to plan this?
They have clearly. They
And
must have been given practice time we weren't available to see, which is bananas
Yeah.
because this whole movie is dance numbers.
Also, they give the 4 other couples like a minute of showing their dance, many of which were more interesting than Sarah Jessica Parker's
Because
dance.
you know they were actually dancing.
Yeah, like that twin dance was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was.
So Sarah Jessica Parker's dad sees her on TV and he's like, I'm going down to that studio. How does he know which studio she's at is my question, because the internet isn't really a thing then.
It's not at all a
No.
thing.
So, what?
But he still is like, where's my military bullets?
He-
I've got some strangling to do.
And he drives down to the studio.
With a bandolier of military
Yeah.
bullets.
The mother doesn't go with him.
No. She's like, let her go. Don't do anything. But she makes no effort
effort.
beyond that to stop her. She doesn't even stop knitting. She just
Yeah.
keeps knitting the whole time. She has a dream to dance. You just
I just
strangled
wanna
it with
dance,
your military
Daddy.
bullets.
I just want to dance, Daddy.
It's not even that big of a thing she's asking to do.
Like,
She just wants to go enter a contest.
just to dance on a TV
It's
show.
during the day in the public.
It's after school.
It's not at midnight in the wrong part of town.
Yeah. So Sarah Jessica Parker dances. And everyone dances. And they're like, we have 2 winners, so they'll have to sudden death. And
Sudden death dance off.
Jean-Claude Van Damme shows up.
Which gives you... he fights.
He fights the penguin suit.
He actually plays hockey for a
Yeah.
little bit. No one notices. But that gives us just enough time to allow Dad to show up.
Dad shows up, but they're like, so it's Sarah Jessica Parker and Rich Mean Girl have
Right.
to dance have to lip sync for their life. Any RuPaul fans out there? So,
But
they're-
it's the only reason for this plot device is so that there's exactly enough time for the dad to show up while she's dancing and not while she's like, I'm a winner.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have his moment of like,
watching her dance.
oh, I guess I was wrong.
But the setup of them dancing sudden overtime is weird. It's like when Bob's Burgers had the dance off between Jimmy Jr. and the other guy, where they're like jumping in and jumping out and jumping in and jumping out. And I was like, there's no tap out system. It's not like I'm done, you're in. They just dance and then they know when to stop.
It's like a dance circle without a circle.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. So somehow, they do a triple backflip or something, some bullshit.
It's so insane.
Triple back handspring into a hand flips, whatever. I don't know.
Again, not a dance move.
Not a dance move. It's gymnastics.
Which, like, you could make a gymnastics movie. Like, you could easily have been like, oh, it's a gymnastics
Stick
competition.
it.
Boom. Yeah, stick it. Perfect example. Okay, here's a gymnastics movie. Okay, fine. No problem. No, this is a dance movie. You should have people, I don't know, maybe once dance.
Yeah, we have to watch that. We have to watch... Also, what I don't understand is, if this TV show typically takes place right after school, why is the live audition event happening at like 10 o'clock at night?
No idea.
No reason.
On a school night.
Mm-hmm. Because Hot Guy's dad is at a bar watching him.
Getting drunk and be like, that's my son looking at me.
That's my son. Drinks are on me. And then they pour a beer on him. He goes, they're really on me.
50 natty bows for the bar.
Natty Light.
Something cheap because I have no money.
So
Look
she-
at my house. It's a trash house.
So she wins. And she looks at her dad.
Wins just in time for Dad to show up and be like, oh, I guess I don't need these military bullets
He
after all.
He doesn't even say anything to her, I don't think. I think he just looks at
They
her
have
and gives her a thumbs
he
up.
gives her, nod, a thumbs up, something like that.
And
Something-
that's it.
Yep. Like,
And-
I came all the way around to my decision and realized I was being a tit. Guess I don't need these military bullets.
And then Shannon Doherty and the T-shirt selling guy kiss, which is a little weird.
Because he's like, she clearly has a crush on her brother's friend, which is not an uncommon thing, but she's young. She's way younger.
12 max.
Yeah.
And he's 15.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, he's a little old for smooching this girl.
Yeah. Also his best friend's sister.
Yeah.
Weird.
Probably a discussion you should have.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, Helen Hunt drives a chariot.
A horse-drawn chariot, I believe.
Yes, a full-on horse-drawn chariot.
Because she got that woman's job. Because there's no qualifications necessary.
Well, she was here.
She showed up.
She's not.
What I
doing
like to
anything
imagine
else.
is that she didn't talk to anyone about it. She just went up and put on the costume and stood in the chariot and was like, go.
Ka-cha! Ka-cha! At this point, I wrote, okay, maybe I don't hate you. That was kind of worth it.
Mm-hmm. It's cute.
That one scene.
It's cute.
You think the whole movie is cute?
Yeah.
We'll do our famous segment, hot taglines.
This goes under the title.
Do you have a hot tagline in mind for this one?
I guess it would either be girls just want to have fun, but military dads don't. Or girls just want to have fun, but not Cyndi Lauper. Not that one, but not the Cyndi Lauper one. The other one.
A different sort of related one. My thought was, obviously, girls just want to have fun, military bullets. But my actual one that I thought of while watching this was girls just want to have fun. You've probably seen this movie before. No, really, you've probably seen this movie before.
It's called Flashdance.
It's called any number of movies that this is just a copy of.
Although, actually, now that I think about it, Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper was a cover.
Yeah?
Yeah, by Robert Hazard. It was sung by a dude originally.
Okay, well, still not the original version in this.
No.
It's a crappy girl group.
Yeah.
So that brings us to, would you recommend this movie?
I would. It's not painful to get through.
No.
Like, it's kind of stupid and kind of fun, and they're all decent. Like there's a couple of decently known actors that, like, they went on to have a solid career after this movie.
It's true. There are people you know in this movie. I don't think I would recommend this. It's not as fun as other similar movies. Like, Stick It is more watchable and silly to me than this. This is more along the lines to me of, like, I'll give it a weak recommend. So if you really like dance movies, or one of the women or male actors, I guess, in this movie, although I don't think any of them are as famous,
no,
you probably get behind this. I don't think this would be one that would be a great movie night with your friends, like have some beers and heckle.
Well, not my friends.
Well, yeah, maybe your friends.
My friends would do that.
But there are better movies to do that with, I think. Even if you want to stick to, like, the dance subject, like Flashdance and Dirty Dancing are more entertaining.
Flashdance.
But both of those are more entertaining to watch than this.
Oh, Dirty Dancing! I forgot about that one. I kept saying
that would have been perfect. Footloose, another one that I would watch over this. Like,
no one puts baby in the corner.
Yeah,
you're 30. Go away.
You're a sexual predator. Stop it.
Go kiss Demi Moore while you're covered in clay.
Oh, rest in peace, Patrick Swayze.
Oh.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
We'll get to Patrick Swayze on this show at some point. I guarantee
we
it.
have to.
I put the stamp of guarantee on that. I think that's all for this inaugural episode of Dissecting the 80s with Trip and Andrew. Until next time, keep away from those military bullets and...
don't you forget about me.